Not everybody is mentally ill. Many people just have issues that they are currently dealing with and they just need someone to talk to. So, what happens if you are not able to get someone to talk to, or you don't even have someone you can rely on? Confidentiality. Hmm. On this episode of Talking Therapy, I have a media personality, is broadcaster, mental health advocate, and an author of a mental health based book to answer just one question. That question is, what should I do if I have something bothering my mind? Talking Therapy is sponsored by Anem Onireke Ibadan and Owara Contemporary. Come along with me. Let's ask that question. So, guys, I'm here with Lady Gwen. I have a, a confession.
Yes.
She's a media personality, is broadcaster, and a mental health advocate. And she has a book. She's an author. Naked and
And squared.
so I have a question confession. I know that you are something something Oshoni. So I don't know how to pronounce that.
Okay, so it's Gwendolyn.
Ah,
So and then over the years, being in the broadcasting, so it's been Lady Gwen.
yeah,
I remembered recently I had an award,
okay,
and but you see, I'm supposed to take the award back or the plaque back to the organizers
okay,
for them to change the name.
yeah.
They said Gwendolyn Osha Oniyi.
That one is even worse.
But I didn't mind because um it wasn't a big deal to me because the reason for the award
Yeah,
was bigger. It was
yeah,
it was mind blowing.
yeah.
So I mean, I get a lot of different version of my name. Guan, Gwen, Queen. But then the name is very important. It's
Mm.
so I try to just diffuse, not to go crazy about everything that is wrong or is not right. So
Okay, so congratulations on your new book.
thank you,
So
thank
mental
you.
health really.
Mental health, it is, but I think it's a two-edged sword. Number one, we play down on it. Number two, in some quarters, especially with the new generation, they overemphasize it to the point of trivializing it. Um, Imagine you, and for the wrong reason sometimes. Imagine someone hasn't eaten breakfast and then they say, "Oh, I'm traumatized," or a silly boyfriend walks away that is maltreating you, and you say, "Oh, my life is shattered, I'm traumatized, I'm going through a lot, my mental health is damaged." you know, or you're being corrected for something you did wrong in the workplace, and really, really maybe true criticism, and then you say, "Oh, they hate me, workplace toxicity. Oh, I'm traumatized. Oh, this is I'm going through a lot." So the resilience or the what's that word? I think resilience, the quotient is very low or not, it's low or zero, especially with this generation, but it's real. And I think we shouldn't misuse it. Just the word with rape, gender violence. I mean, um, there are so many people being violated, and we downplay on it and say, "Oh, it's love," or we say, "That's how this person shows love," or we say, "Oh, it's nothing," or we even capitalize on it to victimize the other person and make them the villain when they are supposed to be the victim. So it's this are I think these are conversations that we should let the people know the gravity of downplaying on such subjects, like mental health, gender-based violence, and some of those things. It's real.
Mm.
It's real. And there are there are so so many life stressors that even makes it worse, and now that people are even speaking out, makes it believable. But what do we do about it? That's, the most important thing. Yeah.
What inspired you to write that?
Okay. So I think you maybe to backtrack.
Yeah.
There was a time I was working at a particular radio station, and it was just crazy. We met
Yeah.
at that point,
Hmm.
and you were trying to get me to that place of peace.
I can't forget that.
Oh no, it was.
Wow.
I couldn't even assimilate. I think I told
Yeah,
you
it was very
that
bad.
I couldn't even assimilate.
Yes.
But you see, I at that point I didn't know that I was going through a meltdown,
Whoa.
and I was gradually shutting down because I was still going to work.
Yeah.
I was doing, the normal things every day, but it was mechanical, it was automated.
Yeah.
You just know you have to wake up so time, and then, but there were instances,
Mm.
like I remember there was a time I left the house
Yeah.
with two different, I think, shoes or slippers,
Whoa.
and I was already going to work. My laptop bag, my shoulder bag, everything. I was going to work, and then until driver saw me and said, "Ma, are you ready to go, or you're going to buy something?" Or I said, "Are you blind? Can't you see I'm dressed up?" And he said, "Ah, your shoes." I said, "What is wrong with them?" He said, "Look at." I looked, and I couldn't believe that someone will leave the house unaware, that you're wearing two different shoes and two different colors. I was it was shocking. And afterwards, there were some other, um, signals that
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of.
Mm.
Like, the secretary, kept telling me repeatedly, time after time, "Ma, your dress is rumpled.
Mm.
You didn't iron it." And at one point, I just got mad. Like, is it me you came to look at our work? And at some point, one day I said, "How do I dress these days?" She said, "I usually look rough, like I didn't get enough sleep, I don't look fresh like I used to, and all of that." Then I just put it to too much work. I was overworked, but there also came another instance where I just got tired of my hair, and I was going to um, the salon
Yeah.
to just find something to do as early as 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And people were not even out. I think it was 6:30 or something like that. And then I saw this boy cleaning up, sweeping, and I walked to the shop. "Is this a salon?" He said, "No." "What do you guys do here?" He said, "It's a barber shop." So I said, "Oh, really? Do you know how to cut hair?"
I think I saw you. I think I saw that one. You
I
have it.
shaved, I did go back, I shaved my hair.
Whoa.
So I just said, "You know what? Help me to cut." I was just tired. I just wanted freedom, freedom, everything. Free. I just wanted to be free. If nakedness was freedom, I would have taken it, because the choices you make every day to say, "What do I wear? Is this color, matching that?" I just didn't want. It
It
was
was too much.
too much, too much.
Wow.
So I just got rid of my hair. And years passed. My father died. That
Oh,
also
so sorry.
bec- that also became another stressor or trauma, and then on and on, things were piling up.
Yeah.
And I think by 2020
Yeah.
or 2021 or something,
Okay.
um, I was trying to bounce back with
Mm.
my career, and it was more like everything I was doing, nothing was working.
Mm.
Went back to Lagos,
Mm.
tried to do other things,
Mm.
but I was running into problem, staff. the production we were bringing out was not up to what I was looking at, and my clients were displeased, and I was just like, what in the world am I even good at? So I got into further into depression, and I think around 2002 I cut my hair again. But again, I didn't think I was depressed. So I think by 2000 and by that 2002 into 2003, things really got so bad. And at one point, I was having high blood pressure for a couple of months. As um, that came as a result of trauma, more like emotional trauma. You're just always thinking, crying, and at some point, okay, so I'd always ever wanted to write. I'd always wanted to be a script writer for movies, but I didn't follow all that through. So when it was more like I I I tried, then I called someone that I needed to talk to a therapist. And by the time they gave me the bill, I just I just said myself, you know what? I wasn't working, I wasn't earning, I had no dime. Where would the money come from? So where would the money come from? So I just told myself, something just told me, that inner voice, like you're a lost cause, you're finished, you're doomed. I've been telling you, you're hopeless, you're helpless, nobody can help you. So I began to voice out more on my WhatsApp status, you know, scripted message. And then there was a day I was sleeping, like there was this box in my head, like I was in a dark space, very dark, and there was no air. I couldn't move. And, I kept seeing myself sinking, falling like deeper, deeper into that darkness. And, and suddenly there was this thing like light, and it was a way out. And that was there. And I became happy. Like there was this happiness inside of me, like, oh my goodness. So death is actually not a bad thing. As yes, as bad as what we think, um it's it's an escape route. So I began to like, wow, I should really take it. So I began to write on my WhatsApp status, like, that is actually a beautiful thing. It's, if only we will embrace it and see it, if only we embrace it and see it as, you know, um, not even just an escape, but a solution. Yes, the life itself is problematic. You want to become somebody, you can't. The road to getting to that somebody is very hectic. So why you don't have need cause or need for anything in once you're dead? And I was just thinking, okay, so what happens to the people around you? Won't they be sad? But then it occurred to me they will be sad for a while, and they will recover and life will go on, because there have been people in our lives, in my life, and I'm still here. Life continues. So they will continue. But for me, I mean, I've gotten my own way of escape. I mean, leaving them to their own problems. And I laughed also when I realized that when someone dies, you are no longer a problem, but they are. you now even become their own problem because they need to be looking for a solution of how to bury that person and all of that. So it was so relieving. It was so relieving, and I was like, wow. And I was embracing it. I embraced it. Not that I embraced it. So a friend of mine, there was somebody who sent me a message, Lady Gwen, are you okay? Is everything all right? I said, I'm fine. And because I didn't see myself opening up to people, especially because a lot of people saw me as successful, strong woman, and all of that. Yeah, but a lot of things were not working. So for me to now open up that vulnerability to say, oh, this is me, nothing is working, it was. So there was a particular friend of mine, a male, and he reached out and he was like, what's all that thing you were, writing on your, and he said, can you explain it to me? That is beautiful. I now began to explain. He was like, he listened and he said, wait, hold on, hold on, hold on. Are we talking about death?
The same one.
The same.
Oh, another one.
I said, yes, of course. That he said, wait, there is a problem here. You mean you are talking about death like, you are enjoying a good meal or something? So at that point, he said, you know what? Come over to my side, and then he began to invite me out. I changed my environment, go places and things like that. And then gradually I began to see that there was a problem. I began to see that I was really, really depressed, and it had gone on for too long. And then I also realized that I had seasonal depression. One moment, I mean, I've known, I mean, for a longer part of my life, I've known that my life had been one moment I'm happy, the next I'm not. Yes, up and down. And then I began to read, I realized, oh, this is seasonal depression. And I began to also look for solution for myself and to say, what are the things, if you can't get a therapist,
What can you do on your
what
own?
can I do on my
Like
own?
home remedy,
Exactly.
like first aid.
Exactly. Because
I like that.
I just looked at it that, okay, I I need to make a choice. Do I want to die, and or do I want to be here? And then especially the thoughts, and when my friend said, imagine you die and they just, after you're dead, they say, oh, she's dead. And then maybe a day or two after, they say, oh, she just won a lottery, or she got a big job
Big money,
with, with big money, or
an opportunity,
an opportunity or something. Things just got better.
better.
And I said to myself, wow, really? That's, well, as long as I wake up every day, it's my stance for hope. Like, it's another day to try again, another day to hope. I'm still here. I mean, and then I began to make that choice every day to live. And so, what are the things I need to do to push me towards living
And get you on your feet.
and get me on my feet every day? And I realize that every day I'm at work in my mind.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I'm not really, really conscious,
Yeah.
and maybe it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then I just wake up sad, as in horribly sad. And I'm wondering, what exactly is the issue? Did somebody offend me? Then I begin to trace it back. Then I will realize that, oh, it was something someone said,
Said or
did, or something,
unresolved.
maybe like a week ago
Yeah.
or something, or someone annoyed me and I didn't say anything. I didn't defend myself,
Yeah.
or I didn't retaliate, or I didn't voice out.
Yeah. Wasn't
And
managed at all.
yes, and that will become a trigger, then I begin to deal with it. And like, no, don't dwell on it. Don't. So sometimes once those emotion comes, I begin to my music, my prayer platform, and I remember that there were even times that I would just be playing prayers. I don't know what they are even saying. Even there are some songs they had, it's like saying something and I can't hear you. I can't make out the words, but I just kept playing it, because I just needed to stay alive. And then I realized that at some point I could actually hear what they're saying and I could understand. I remember there was a time I had been indoor. I'm mostly indoor, but people don't know because if I go for one event, everybody will see. I will post exactly. But I was always indoor, so I just dressed up, got out. It was in Ibadan at that time. I got out, went to one of the malls or a supermarket, and I had no, I had money. I had no intention of buying anything. So I was just walking up and down, wondering, so what would you buy? Are you hungry? I could not answer that. So there was this girl, I think it was all these sales attendants, and then they were doing promo. She came cheerfully, and I saw her mouth moving, but I couldn't make out what she was saying, and it was as if I couldn't hear her as well. I just couldn't hear her. I was just looking at her, and I said, you know what? Sorry to cut you short. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Please. I just want to be left alone. So I mean, I try to be courteous. I try to speak to people nicely and to be kind. I try. I do it intentionally. So I just realized that no, that wasn't kind. So I went back to the lady and I said, I'm so sorry the way I spoke to you the other time. I'm not feeling well. And I just started crying. Total strange. The girls were looking at it. We understand. We're sorry, ma. We understand. I just want to be left alone. I'm not feeling well. I felt so sorry for that image. And after I started, coming out gradually, there were some things I wanted to vent out, without having to tell someone. Because I also realized that the first time when you saw me that time, I think that must have been 2019 or 2018. Can you imagine? 2017. I, Towards 2017, 2018, and 2019, thereabout. I knew I wanted to talk. I knew I needed to talk. I needed to tell someone how I was feeling. And then I tried reaching out to one or two people, but they were just so busy. Some would just listen and would not.
Be able to come up with it.
Yes. And it was, my head was going to explode. So I just said, you know what? I don't want to have to always be telling my story to everybody and all of that. And I wanted to just put it in writing. So I started writing, started putting all of my thoughts together. And then I also took a look back into my background, my family background, and some of the things that were causing me pain, like the different losses in my family, the loved ones who died, whom whenever I thought of, it was more like what do people say, like we are being jinxed. So I went back into those pain points, into my past. So well, I said do, but I had to face them. Yes, identify them, and and I put in some of those things,
Mm,
I saw someone's book, and
mm,
I said, "Ah, I like the color. I mean, it would be nice to be an author myself and then share my story and all of that." So I spoke to, I think I was just telling someone, a publisher,
yeah.
and she was like, let me see your manuscript. And then the next thing she said, wow, this is amazing that we can turn it into a book. I said, this rough thing, that she said we can, and then we try to frame it. But then I wanted also a book that will be more than just telling my story.
Something that could help other
Exactly. Because the way, as I read it, everyone who's read it had one thing to say. It was dark,
people.
and it was a lot of pain and vulnerability.
Mm,
So, but then at the end of the day, I don't want to leave people with all that darkness,
mm,
but to also say, look, you might be going through this, you might know someone who is going through this,
mm,
but these are some of the things that helped me.
mm.
And I'm not going to dispute the benefit or importance of therapies,
Yeah.
because it's more like, you have someone who is outside your head,
Mm-hmm.
who can
Look at it from
another
another
angle,
angle.
perspective,
Yeah.
and who is a professional that can help you
Yeah. That's what
and channel all of those things to a
to helping the
direction
person.
to. So, but it's unfortunate that sometimes financially we
People are
can't
not
reach.
able to.
So what I was doing for, like, in fact, there were some mental health programs I then started, I registered for,
Mm.
I started attending. So every time I just see a mental health program
Yeah.
or something, I attend.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, what some of them were also doing was that they were giving free consultation.
Mm.
So believe me,
You don't.
I was empty. I'm telling you, every every mental health program. I think one of the reasons why I was going was because of free consultation. So
Wow.
I think I attended,
Nice.
like, I did, like, I met about three therapists
Yeah.
at some programs,
Mm.
and I know it wasn't enough,
Yeah.
but it was.
You were able to use it
Mm,
and really apply it
yes,
to yourself.
yes. And then also to sample their knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and their, also consultation
Mm-hmm.
fees and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So from there, I started getting stronger, also changing my environment and some other things I was doing. And then especially my friend that would just say, you know what, there is a party, just come. So
Come
I
and
just,
die
even just to look at people,
and find it
just,
therapeutic.
yes, just to sit, just to
Look at
change my environment.
nice.
So all of these things,
It would help.
getting me out, also helped,
Mm.
because it was more like you're plucking me out of that, my con- conclave,
And it
or
works.
yes, and like just removing me from that situation and all the stressors, all the things that could likely
Mm-hmm.
trigger. So just bringing me out, and every time. So it did help, and then I started getting better, and then I became conscious
Mm.
of mental health,
Mm.
depression,
Mm.
and those trigger factors. So what I was doing, for each day, and although it's a lot of work, it is a lot of,
It is.
it's because these things are in the mind that you sometimes don't even have control over them. They are so subtle.
Can I shake you?
They're so subtle, they're like, you're not even aware.
I wanted to say that you're not even aware of it.
You're
That's
not,
like the funniest part of it all.
do you know you can be sleeping, and You are sad.
Yes, yes.
You can be sleeping and you are right there sad.
Or you can be shouting and still be sad. Wow.
Yes, and you can good. That's another thing I also experienced. You can be laughing, shouting, and be sad.
Yes.
Okay, so I began to go for conferences and then, I attend free therapy sessions.
And you're able to administer it to yourself.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because we need therapists.
Hmm.
We need therapists. We need a way out. We need a way out. And I think also, especially for those who may not be able to get to therapists immediately,
Yeah.
there has to be that first responder action.
Action.
There has to be that first aid.
First aid.
Exactly. And also for maybe relatives,
Yes.
you know,
Support.
that if what you need to do if you notice this person is behaving this way,
Hmm.
so that they don't take the action to just take that ideation, that suicidal thought, and follow
And
it through
execute it.
and execute it. Yes.
What for somebody having something bothering his or her mind right now? What should the person do?
Okay, so I've written a lot
Yeah.
in my book,
Yes.
and and
Just
um,
tell us a little. One or
and
two.
I, of course, even in all of this interview, I've shared quite a bit,
Yeah.
but I would say number one thing is get it out of your head.
Hmm.
You need to talk to someone.
Hmm.
What that does for you is you're transferring
Hmm.
that trauma to, it's like a load bearing.
Yeah.
You're spreading that trauma
Hmm.
to other people,
Hmm.
but make sure that the other people you're spreading it to, they
Hmm.
can carry you, because
Hmm.
not everybody has that emotional quotient to carry other people.
As first aid.
That's as first aid. So you need to get it out.
Get it out.
That's the first thing.
Okay.
Secondly,
Yeah.
you need to come to that point of recognizing that you're going through something,
There's a problem.
that there is a problem.
Hmm.
Because if you don't know that there is a problem, you won't head for the light. You won't head for solution.
Hmm.
And then I'll stop at number three.
Yeah.
After recognizing that there is a problem, where
Can I get
the
help?
solution? Or what help can I get? Where can I get the help? What help can I get?
Who can
And
offer me?
who can offer me the help?
Hmm.
And maybe I'll add this:
Okay.
am I
Thank
even
you.
ready to get the help? Because
I don't want to. I want to hold your hand. Yes, because it's true.
because you
You may enjoy it.
you need to, it's a lot of effort to want to come out.
Hmm. True.
It's more like, have you ever tried exercising?
Mm-hmm.
Every morning, maybe 5:30 a.m. You
Usually
have,
it's very.
it's not a joke. So there has to be that determination
Yeah.
to say, I want to do this
And I need help.
and I need help. I want to get help.
Hmm.
you know so because all that remains is action.
Hmm. Very true.
Action point, the things they will ask you to do, the things you're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
even for your first aid and all of that. And some of these practical things, like I said, they are so plain and written in my book.
Yeah.
And I also found out that some of those things I did
Yeah.
were the things that the therapists
We also discussed.
were also telling me to do,
Awesome.
or would tell you to do. So they are very, very essential, especially for first aid, because it's like someone got into an accident
Hmm.
and they can't breathe properly. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
As
just,
first aid while waiting for the.
while waiting for the
For
real
the.
help,
Yeah.
for the real professionals,
Yes.
or for you to take them to the clinic or the profession? So there has to be your first responder
Wow.
action. So, and it's very important,
Yeah.
because if you don't know the right things to do,
Mm-hmm.
the right things to
It might
say,
worsen the
it might
situation.
worsen the situation, trigger them even the more, and They just look at it like, what am I doing here?
Mm.
What's my purpose? What's my use? And then finality.
Mm.
So
Thank you very much. I really
yo,
enjoyed. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it
Thank you very much
too.
for coming
Thank you
and for
so much.
sharing all the secrets in the not all, but some of the secrets in the book. So you really need to get the book. We all need to get the book and read it. All right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for.
think you're doing a great job,
Thank you.
and like I said, mental health like I said, mental health is something that we need to
Yeah.
invest in, emotionally, financially, physically, get all the information we can. And because times are really tough,
Mm.
the economy is not helping, the
Mm.
government may not also be helping.
Mm.
So many things, life itself, the chronology, in itself, you're getting late in having children, in getting
That
married.
could also trigger
All
a
of
lot of
those
things.
things, they trigger, those negative emotions. So what do you do?
Mm.
And that's why it's very important we talk about mental health.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye.
Bye.